All right, Greg, do you expect Cam Newton and the Patriots to be able to keep pace with what we've seen so far from Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense?
No. No, you don't expect them, or any team for that matter, to keep pace with what the Kansas City Chiefs do. What you expect, and what Bill Belichick is alluding to, is for your defense to step up and eliminate some of those opportunities that we've seen from the Kansas City Chiefs in their explosive plays, and give their offense a chance to just be who they are. You can't try to match what the Chiefs do. I think that's where teams get outside of themselves and they play the other opponent's game, which you don't want to play what the Kansas City Chiefs do well, because that's exactly what they do well. You're playing into their hands. This is a team that you do need to play ball control if you can, which the Patriots can do that, but that means moving the ball methodically down the field and essentially playing defense by offense, as well as defense by playing good defense and getting that Kansas City Chiefs team off the field.
Greg, I agree with you. There's no way you can keep up with this team. If this is a shootout, you have no chance. And I love how two offensive guys sitting on this show is talking about the defense, because this is what it's going to come down to. If the Pats, if they want to be in this game, they got to rely on the defense. And I go back to this series, the last 4 games. And I know the teams has changed and schemes has changed, you know, from one game to the next. But it's really interesting because it's more about Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, that matchup. I mean, we're seeing two masterminds play chess at the highest level. So you need to really tune in and watch what your team is doing. Is this team going back to week 14 like last year, playing cover 2, that's going to try to contain him from making those big plays that Greg just talked about, forcing the Kansas City Chiefs to run the ball? Offensively, I mean, you can't even keep up with the Chiefs. They throw so much at you. They can be in bunches in one play, in one drive. They can spread you out the next. They can rely on the run game. They can rely on the screen. They can rely on taking shots. So you really can't keep up with them. The only chance that you have is forcing these guys to run the ball. I think this is going to be a game to watch because of these two coaches. I know there's a lot of players out there, but Bill Belichick and Andy Reid, they're going to be doing it at the highest level. This is going to come down to coaching.
What do you, Brandon, who's the better coach, Bill Belichick or Andy Reid?
Who has more rings? Bill Belichick. You got to go with that. You know, Bill Belichick is the better coach.
Yeah. So why do you say there's no chance?
Because when you got probably the best quarterback to ever play the game, and not only that, he has
and
4
Mahomes.
or 5 weapons. The last time we seen an offense like this was actually in New England, the 07 New England Patriots, or even the 99 2000 St. Louis Rams. We haven't seen a prolific offense like this since then. So that's the reason why. Yeah, Bill Belichick is great, but what he's facing is something that this league hasn't seen in a very long time.
Wilds, let me throw a question your way. Who's right now the best coach in the NBA? Right now, who's the best coach in the NBA?
Well, you want me to say something other than Greg Popovich, but I'm going to say Greg Popovich.
No, I want you to say Greg Popovich. That's the right answer. How did his team look in the playoffs? How did his team look in the playoffs this year? Oh, did they not make it?
They look like
so the best coach doesn't win. Oh, wait. So a team. They don't have their so all of a sudden, maybe it's not just who has the best coach. Why would you ever pick against Bill Belichick? I don't understand. Because the other team has Patrick Mahomes. Like, come on. That's not, I mean, and it's not like the Chiefs are coached by an idiot. They're coached by the second best coach of his generation, Andy Reid, second only to Bill Belichick. Now let's talk about what Belichick said.
Debatable.
The goal is to score points. That is... What's debatable, Brandon? What's debatable?
Second greatest coach, debatable. Second greatest coach is debatable. Go through your point, but that's debatable. That could be an entire segment.
Okay, that's fine. And it would end on the second best coach of the year is Andy Reid. That's fine, but I will continue. Andy Reid, even predating Mahomes, has figured out how to score in this Belichick defense. Since Andy Reid took over the Chiefs in 2013, They are averaging 33 points per game against Belichick, the most of any team in the league by far. They have the highest winning percentage of any team that's faced Belichick multiple times, of any team in the league in that era. Like, Andy Reid has done as good of a job as anybody against Bill Belichick defenses. So what is the Patriots' hope? The Patriots got to score a bunch of points. They've got to score. They got to beat them the way they beat them 2 years ago when the Chiefs scored 40 and lost, or the way they beat them in the AFC Championship game when the Chiefs scored 31 and lost. Cam's going to have, Greg, the type of game he had against Seattle. He's going to have to be dominant through the air. The Chiefs don't have a great secondary. The corner that was having a great year, L'Jarius Sneed, just broke his collarbone. He's out. If you're going to try to hold this Chiefs offense down, no one's been able to do it. In Mahomes' whole career, there's been one game he's been held under 23, and he was hurt and Tyreek didn't play. That's a losing hand. You got to try to score with the Chiefs and hope the Chiefs make some mistakes. It's the only path the Patriots have, Greg.
I don't agree with that.
I agree, and we talked about a couple of days ago the Baltimore Ravens and how they were built and how they're not built to pass the ball predominantly amount of the game and come back from those deficits. Well, the Chiefs, this is what makes this team scary, because you can do everything right if you're the New England Patriots, and that offense gets the ball and they can come back from whatever deficit that's necessary. This is why this team is so scary, because they're explosive.
Okay.
They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They can do whatever is necessary to come back from a deficit if need be.
Can I jump in
Go ahead,
real
Wilds.
quick, Jenna, before we go? Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
The Chiefs have played 3 games. They looked good in 2 of those games. They scored 20 points against the Chargers, 3 of which were a 58-yard field goal and then another 58-yard. So if you take the amazing field goals out of it, they scored 17 points. So the idea that the Bill Belichick and Cam Newton need to score 50 points to beat a Chiefs team that hung 20 points on the Chargers in a rookie...
They got to score 30.
Okay.
They got to score 30.
The challenge,
Greg.
Wilds, the challenge was that you had 2 dogs at defensive end. You had Melvin Ingram and you had Bosa on the other side. That's why they struggled, because they were able to put pressure on Mahomes. If they want to win this game, they got to play great defense. Point blank, period.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.